Pod is back after a nice post Gold Cup break. I'm joined tonight by a friend of the pod, Naeem Moran, to discuss Mexico's September window. In this window, Mexico plays Japan on Saturday and South Korea on Tuesday. Naeem, how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going, bro? Raul, thanks for inviting me again. Good seeing you. Hope you're having a good summer or late summer, yeah. Otoño, fall, going into the fall. But yeah, always great chatting with you about the beautiful game.
And beautiful game it is. Let's just dive into the roster. And we talked a little bit beforehand. Anything catch your eye? I know it's a lot of the same players, minus some absences, some expected, some not. Are you excited about any player returns coming back that missed out on the Gold Cup at least?
No, I think Linus has been a good sort of news in general with Tigres. I think now that Guido Pizarro has had time to sort of make his team or shape it up a little bit of how he wants it to play. I think there's more maturity from Linus, I would say. When you compare Linus to, for example, Aquino, who also came back from Spain to Mexico through Tigres, maybe Aquino was a little bit older than Linus, but the similar situations. I think that it's been very interesting to see him sort of play most of the positions on the flank. No, I've even seen him as a defender in some of those matches with Guido Pizarro. But now as we know, his ability is offensive, no, and the closer he is to the final third, the more danger he will cause. But I think there's a lot of interesting details with him. He's scoring nice goals, but also there's a lot of tactical responsibility that I think he's shown. Berterame, he had a good Club World Cup with Monterrey. I think that was one of the big, moments of the summer for Mexican football was how Monterrey played out in the Club World Cup against Inter and the Dortmund game. Even though they lost, I mean, I think it was really interesting. So I think he's a player that is intriguing for Aguirre and will definitely put a battle to win one of those final spots in the forward position.
Do you think we take three strikers? So the Jimenez's, and then there's one spot left for like a true striker.
I
You think
think
that's
so.
is it gonna be between Sepulveda and him?
Yeah, pretty
You think
much.
so?
I think. Yeah, that's how it's looking. And I mean, I know that there is a desire to see Sepulveda. Of course, there's always gonna be this debate, in terms of the naturalizado against someone like Sepulveda, who clearly has worked very hard to be in this position of actually getting noticed and put in the conversation. But at the end, Berterame is an intriguing striker, no? And if he keeps banging in the goals with Rayados, it's gonna be difficult for him to ignore him. And then right now, Sepulveda has an injury that will take a while to heal, and so Berterame has a good opportunity in these games to win ground, no? And also considering that Quiñones is not involved as well, so he's gonna have extra looks that there's not a legitimate competition there for Berterame in this week and a half or so that he's been with Aguirre.
Yeah, the thing with Sepulveda, he had the whole 6 weeks with in front of the training staff and Vasco and everyone for 6 weeks. I thought he played good in his little spot minutes when he was with the national team. I thought he was the number one. I say number one. He was the top option, I think, for that third striker position, Sepulveda. But like you said, Berterame has time right now. He has the next 10 days, and I mean, when is Sepulveda going to be back?
Yeah. No, and also Berterame is part of one of the high stack squads in Liga MX. I mean, it's a squad that really, based on what we've seen in the last month or so, Rayados has to be in the final four of the Liguilla, no? And they gotta fight for the title. There's no excuse here. And I think Berterame being involved in that, it's gonna be interesting. There's potential that we see Cruz Azul and Monterrey in the Final Four and Sepúlveda against Berterame and see who shines the most in that sort of moment of the season. And that could also play a role in deciding who goes. No, if Sepúlveda scores a hat trick in the semis of the Liguilla, then it's gonna be very hard to not ignore that as well. No, and as it typically happens in Mexico, the media will be all on deck for Sepulveda. They want to see him win, but it seems that Vasco and his coaching staff are very intrigued with Berterame.
I love how we're having this debate, and it's probably spot number 26 on the roster.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
it's like when football fans debate about who's gonna be the backup quarterback, and it's like, if your backup quarterback is getting that many minutes, your season's probably not going well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's so situation, especially with the both Jimenez. No, it seems that they're sort of maybe both start or one of them will definitely. I mean, when you have Raúl and Santi, Raúl is the starter, undisputed starter. There's just this debate on whether they'll play Santi and Raúl or just one of them. But if it's one of them, it's always going to be Raúl, and that's not going to change from now till 2026.
But importantly, it's good to have options in terms of not even just different strikers, but, hey, we can play more than one system. Because I talked
Yeah,
about it, you talked about it. The downfall of Tata was he knew how to play one way, and he did not know how to change after his player pool changed.
yeah.
He did not know how to play.
And the player pool can still change from now till the World Cup because there's a lot of scenarios still that could happen.
Who knows? Stefano Carrillo could bang in 20 goals in the second division in Holland, and maybe he gets a look. I mean,
Yeah.
crazier things have happened. I mean, there's always a couple players who play.
Chicharito in 2010 won the position in the roster probably in the last 4 months, because it happened so quick, everything.
I think he made his debut in what, March of that year?
Something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In a Molino in Oakland, I think. I think it was on the West Coast in, like, San Francisco. I think he made his debut as a sub against, like, Venezuela or something like that, but like you said, he made his debut in early 2010,
And then he was starting in the World Cup,
and he was bought by Man U in May of 2010. So, crazier things have happened. The return I'm focused on, Irving Lozano.
Yeah.
He's got 15 goal contributions in 1,700 minutes this season in, MLS. He's playing in a high flying, really fun attacking, trio up in, San Diego. They've been a fun watch, and especially the late night games, it's nice to put him on TV, just check out those games. How does he fit with, Vasco of 2025? Is he matured enough to? Because we've been praising, Piojo for his defensive prowess on the wing coming
Yeah.
back. That was a huge knock against Lozano 6, 7 years ago that he was not playing defense. He was not tracking back. So whoever the fullback was on his side knew it was gonna be a long night defensively, but I think the story around Lozano has changed. What do you think he could contribute to Lozano or what do you think he can contribute to Vasco's team, and where can he fit on the roster?
Yeah, I mean, he is the guy of this 2 games or this September call up. He's a name, and I know I
He
didn't
was
mention
called up for the Gold Cup, but he got hurt and he stepped
he
up.
got hurt, and he is the name, and there's a lot of debate, on where he plays and whatnot. But if you see San Diego, coached by Mikey Varas, I think he's Chilean. He has Chilean descent, so he's very in tune with how Marcelo Bielsa coaches. I mean, he studied Marcelo Bielsa's Chile. And as we know that Chile did many things, won multiple Copa Americas. And so San Diego is one of the teams in the world. That this is something the Guardian put out an article that is one of the teams in the world that best has the possession of the ball and moves the ball and takes risks, no? But they also press pretty well, and that's where Chucky Lozano is a master. The pressing triggers that Chuky's showing right now is stuff that he showed in 2017. And I think that has to be highlighted. That he is at a level right now. Of course, he's older, doesn't have the same stamina that he had when he was young, but he has that same eyes or that same sight of hunger to do things. He really wants to win with San Diego. We saw it several days ago beating LAFC at LAFC's place with Son's debut and all this stuff. And he really feasted in that moment. He really enjoyed it to be the villain.
He's loving it. He's loving soccer again, which is
Yeah, which I think was very important.
yeah, because some of those last days in Serie A, it's like the kid lost his smile a little bit, he just wasn't the same. And, there's something to be said about, "Hey, you're gonna be one of the guys. You're not gonna be
Yeah.
one of the guys, you're gonna be one of the leaders of this team," and he's kind of embraced it. It's just it's fun watching him
No,
play.
and Vasco, let it be said, Vasco actually has traveled to San Diego to see him play, and I'm pretty sure they met afterwards and probably had a couple of dinners and whatnot. So Vasco's very invested in the idea of bringing him back into the fold. And like you said, Chucky has to understand that he's going to be one of the leaders, no? And this experience, because he also likes to show it off. Chucky Lozano, he has this cockiness to say, "Well, I'm the first Mexican that won in Serie A," with Napoli. Even though, like you said, he wasn't an important player of the caliber of the Georgian that's in PSG right now. What was his name? Krivishla.
Can never know how to pronounce his name.
Well,
I'm gonna be
what?
honest, I know who you're talking about.
Listen, yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
visitors don't. He wasn't at that level in Napoli. That's the truth. No, but he won the Serie A, and now we'll see the situation now. I mean, I think Raul is an undisputed starter, but the question goes into, like, for example, Vega and Piojo Alvarado. That's where Lozano might, be able to win a starting role with Vasco. But I think these 2 games are important for him to sort of say, "Hey, I'm here and I wanna contribute." It's gonna be important to see what type of character he shows, the attitude, how he sort of moves on the field, and I think he probably is gonna score a goal or 2 if he's very, very, because he's very sharp at the moment.
Yeah, according to reports from Giran, from TUDN, Javier Aguirre says that or he says, Javier Aguirre has a favorite in this call-up, and it's Chucky Lozano. So, it's always nice when your coach wants you there, for lack of a better it's good to be wanted, and
Yeah.
he's wanted in San Diego, and it seems like he's wanted back with the national team, and I think the expectations are a little more tempered, which might be better for him. Because after 2018, I know people like to say he's living off that goal. Maybe he didn't live up to the hype of from the post 2018, but he's still had a hell of a career. You know,
Yeah.
he did well in, Serie A. He brought that title to Napoli. I remember that whole city shutting down for days celebrating. All things considered, he's had a good career. I know people didn't like the fact that he came to MLS this past year. I'm okay with it because you know what? He's playing every game. He's gonna play every game next year, so he's gonna be going to the World Cup in form, which once a player reaches a certain age, I'm a little less concerned with what league they're playing and more how they're playing and how much they're playing, you know?
No, and like I said, I mean, I think San Diego is one of the best teams in MLS right now. I mean, it's the numbers say it. And the style really helps him as well. I mean, it's not a robust style that, like, for example, Minnesota, which is one of the top teams in MLS in the Western Conference, but it's a very, very different style. No, it's like sit back, counter, set piece plays, and all that. So the style really fits Chucky Lozano with San Diego, and I think it's exciting times for him because it's a young team. It's an expansion team that is actually vying for the MLS Cup, which is a big deal.
I'm excited to see to experience Tricky Lozano against the national team, and like you said, the number 9 is Raul, or
Yeah,
at the very least, it's a Jimenez up top.
yeah.
To Jimenez's left and right, there's no cemented spots. There's players who've been playing well, but if you told me Piojo's starting or he's on the bench, I would not be surprised either way on any of these players. But having Lozano back as an option, hey, maybe you could put Lozano on the wing, and guess what? It frees up Vega. Maybe Vega can plug in as a number 10. It gives you more options, and I'm excited for Lozano to come back. I don't expect him to, like I said, I expect him to do well with this team. I'm not expecting him to be the savior anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, any contribution helps at this point. I mean, I think when you look at the success Vasco has had, uh, with in terms of winning the Gold Cup and the Nations League, I mean, I think that's been very, very important. No, in terms of having that calmness, no, and that peace of mind to work out different things. I mean, he has won that authority for sure.
And he's won something that a lot of managers, I don't think any manager really has in Mexico. He's won time.
Yeah,
They're not going to fire him. I'm sorry. That man could lose every game from now until May. They're not going to fire him.
yeah.
So he's built in the goodwill of, hey, I won the Nations League, I won the Gold Cup. He's won the right to kind of take these quote unquote risk with this players right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good. Another player that is back with the national team, I guess he didn't join Gold Cup because of some legal stuff he's going through. Rodrigo Huescas. It's it's a three-way battle for for, I think 2 spots, Huescas, Araujo, and, Jorge Vasquez or Sanchez.
Sanchez.
What are your thoughts on Huescas, and do you see him getting in the top 2?
Well, Huescas is my right back starter in the World Cup. So it's sort of like the guy, in my opinion, is brings that, offense, but also the defense aspect. It's between Araujo and Sanchez. One of those is not gonna go to the World Cup, as based on how we look at the roster at the moment. But Huescas is a starter, no, and I think if he keeps playing the level he's been showing with Copenhagen, there's no way of getting out that idea that he'll start. And he is one of those players that was heavily influenced by Anselmi's Cruz Azul in terms of making him into that sort of player that really it didn't take him that much time to get adapted to European football, because the style that he played with Anselmi was already European style, no? The tactics, also the
The
stats,
speed of the game? Yeah,
the speed of the game, the
yeah,
touch,
yeah.
So I think Anselmi has a lot to do with the fact that Huescas. I mean, and it's funny that they brought Jorge Sanchez to replace him in Cruz Azul.
Yeah, that
No,
was,
so and you see differences. I mean, Jorge Sanchez is not at that level of Huescas, and Huescas is younger. It's a smart player as well. He already knows English, so he's adapting really well to European football.
yeah, I would agree with your rankings. I would say Huescas, if I had to predict right now, would probably be the starter. And then I would right now, the pecking order, I would think Araujo's number 3 to Sanchez,
Yeah.
and it's gonna come down to who's playing well, who's maybe not hurt. I mean, you
Well,
never know.
let's hope Araujo gets minutes, no, and Bournemouth. I mean, that's I think the plan right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think he'll get minutes. It's just, are they gonna be good enough minutes? 'Cause Bournemouth had a lot of player sales. You never know when a club sells players like that. Are they gonna be fighting for relegation? Are they gonna be, I don't think they'll be fighting for relegation, but it's gonna be tough, I think, for the first couple months this year when that team gets going. But
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be given every chance to get minutes. It's up to
let's
him
hope.
to do something with those
And
minutes.
he's the only Mexican player in the Premier League. Well, with Raúl
Raul,
Jiménez.
Raul, yeah. On the flip side, any absences that aren't on this roster that you think have a good chance of being on the 2026 roster? And just a couple players here to refresh. Rajo's not here. Efrain Alvarez isn't here. Quinones isn't here. Ochoa isn't here. So feel free to pick outside of those 4. Those are the 4 that came to mind from this past summer that aren't in this call up.
I think Quiñones, no? Quiñones, oof, but also when I look at it, I think Ochoa will go to the World Cup,
Third keeper?
third keeper. Alvarez is gonna be tough, but, the reason I say Alvarez is gonna be tough is because Lainez is back in the picture, and if Lainez really, gets a couple of good
Yeah.
showings, he wins over Alvarez. Um,
We
but we'll see. I
we
mean,
talked about Araujo, so Araujo's gonna be between him and Sanchez, I think, for that third
yeah,
for the second right back. He's only bringing 2 because you could, in a pinch, you can move someone else to play right back, like Israel Reyes.
uh
He can play
huh.
right back. He's not a great right back, but he can play it.
And it's
So,
interesting that he's not in this roster too. No, that Israel Reyes was left out
yeah. Yeah, I
because
wasn't sure about that one, but he got minutes and he got starts over the summer, so maybe it's just Vasco trying to take a look at someone else, maybe, I don't
well,
know.
in this case it would be Purata. No, Purata is getting the look this time around.
Yeah, and I don't think he has any senior team minutes, right?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he's played for the
Shout out to
full.
Tom Marshall, by the way, because Tom Marshall was influential in getting that guy going. I mean, when Purata went to Atlanta United, it was like this guy wasn't even playing in Tigres. Like there wasn't no consideration
Yeah,
whatsoever.
and I think he played like 30 games for Atlanta
Yeah,
last
so
year.
that was I think because there was other Mexicans. I think Raul Gudiño went to Atlanta, and
But Coutinho was like a mid-season, like, we need a
Cisneros.
backup keeper. Yeah.
Cisneros was also another one, but I think the one that has been, considering that he's now on the national team picture, even if he doesn't go to the World Cup, But the fact that he's in the national team picture right now, Tom had to do with a lot with in his story. Hopefully, Purata remembers.
I mean, that's what you want as a big club like Tigres is like, "Hey, can I send a player on loan and have him come back and play well?"
Exactly. Yeah,
Because some of these cl I mean, we've talked about it before, but there's nowhere in Mexico to send these guys to sometimes. It's like, you don't wanna send him to a rival, and you can't if he's an older player, you're not gonna send him to there's no good 2nd division in Mexico, so I think a lot more of these MLS Liga MX to MLS loans make sense.
they
Are
do
gonna make
make
more
sense.
sense too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, for example, I'm pretty sure Rayados has plenty of those players that if they're not playing in the first team, and it's very hard to hit the first team because of the amount of talent there is, foreign talent. It's like, why don't you loan them out to an MLS side or even a freaking USL side? If just get them to play, and see
Especially the
what.
dual nationals, like the U21 kids in your roster that have, US citizenship, send them to USL, USL 1. Have
Yeah,
them play every game. Now there's 3 or 4 really good USL, teams that have good
proper.
infrastructure
Yeah,
yeah, that have sold more players to Europe than Mexico has, there's, like, those teams that will sign these kids when they're 17, 16 years old and say, "Hey, we'll sign you to a 3-year contract, but, when you're 18, we're gonna sell you to Europe." So,
yeah, yeah.
finally, on the players who aren't here on this call up, U20 trio of Mora, Montiel, and Vargas. I know there's been some debate. I was watching, Herculez Gomez say, like, Mora shouldn't be here, he should be with the senior team. Do you see value in sending these guys to the U20 World Cup, or do you think they should be with the senior team? And just to refresh everyone's memory, Mexico plays Brazil, Spain, and Morocco in their group games at the U20
I
World
mean,
Cup.
it's el grupo de la muerte. I mean,
Yeah,
basically, no?
yeah.
I mean, Mora was when you think about the Gold Cup, you think about Mora, no, and the influence he had in the knockout rounds. I've been paying a lot of attention to what Andres Lilini has been saying, the head of youth national teams, basically the man that sort of oversees all of this, and he played a big role in getting Vargas to pick Mexico over the U.S. He flew to Alaska and talked to the parents and all that. I think that this participation in the U20 World Cup, whether it's good or bad, because I got my doubts on the manager, Arce, very young, and I think he coached Puebla. I'm not so sure. I don't know if he has that experience to lead this sort of team in this group in particular that is very stacked, like you
This
said.
group is I mean, we don't know who's gonna be released because this should have been played in the summer, but it got pushed back because of the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
So, obviously, it's not gonna be the best U20
Yeah,
players.
because I was reading that Heriberto Jurado and Estefano Carrillo are not allowed because the team is like
Yeah,
it's not a
and
FIFA
I
day or
mean,
whatever.
especially, Jurado, I'm a little more confused about, but Carrillo, he's gonna play. He's gonna start every game as much as possible for his team. I get that.
Yeah.
Jurado makes the bench every once in a while. I don't know, I'm a little surprised at that one, but I get it.
Yeah, but I think, you know, the experience and being together and sort of being in this setting where clearly Mora is gonna be one of the most followed players in this World Cup. So it's sort of like it's good for him to be in
Be the man?
an environment, yeah, and also in an environment that is still of his age, that yeah, you can sort of skip this because he's so talented, but also I think it's required for his well-being to still be part of this, no, be around guys of his age, and I think it's part of the process of his growth, no. So these friendlies, Japan, Korea, it's. But I think this could be a long-lasting memory. Let's hope that they have a good World Cup because they could play against if they don't make it out of the group stage. But when you think about it, there is a high possibility they don't make it out of the group stage because the group is just too stacked, no?
Yeah, it's Mexico could finish 4th. They could win the group. It's U20 soccer. Let's see who gets released. And I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I think it's a good experience. I think it will be. He's not gonna be like the 3rd or 4th guy on the scouting report for the other teams. He's gonna be like, "Hey, you gotta stop this Mora guy. he can't get the ball.
And look, I'm gonna be honest. When I think about this midfield, and I've seen a lot of midfields in the last 20 years or so, this is the best that has been ever assembled for a U20 side because of the minutes, the first team minutes. When you look at Vargas, Montiel, and Mora, it's a lot of first team minutes at this point in their careers. I don't think Mexico has had a trio of midfielders with so much first team minutes. And look, what Vargas did this past weekend against Miami in the League's Cup final, amazing, amazing. I mean, the way he was taking the ball, the way he just commanded in the midfield. I mean, he was way beyond his years. I mean, he's another player that, like Mora, is not. You could put the argument that he should already be in the senior team and skip this, no. But I think it's important for Mora and Vargas to live these moments with Montiel to build that bond because they're going to be together for a decade or so. No, and so I think that's another thing to consider.
And if you look at those 3 guys, it's like they each had a crazy thing that happened this summer.
Yeah,
Mora broke through with the first team, started the Gold Cup final. Montiel, he played well in the Club World Cup against big clubs.
like Real Madrid,
Yeah, and Vargas, he
the
balled
same
out.
thing.
He balled out in the League's Cup. It might not be a huge tournament, but he balled out against the proverbial best team in MLS and was one of the best players in the field. And also, he did not punk out to Luis Suarez, which
And Busquets and Messi
Busquets
and
threw a punch, bro.
the Polish. I never thought I was gonna see that. Bussy throwing punches. Come on, man.
And I know it wasn't like a fist that but he pushed him. Like what are you doing? You're 38 years old. This kid's 20 years old. It's not his fault. You guys got destroyed 3-0.
Yeah, yeah. So the things that you see nowadays.
But I'm excited to see these 3 guys play. Like you said, this could be the Mexican midfield for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean
It
that's how
could
it
be.
looks right now.
Yeah. Do you happen to know when the U17 World Cup is?
I think it's late October. Yeah,
It's in November. So
November.
that's where I draw the line. Mora should not play that.
No, 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 no. No, no, no. And it's been expressed out there about like, oh, he should play the U7. No, no,
No,
no.
no,
If
no.
he's already in the U20, then it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
there's no point in U17.
yeah. I'm just saying, if that happens, then I'm gonna be like, all right, this is where I draw the line. Like,
Yeah.
no,
No,
it's
hopefully the U17 has, another dual nationals that are intriguing, no, which I think will always be helpful for the national team.
and we were kind of looking at this before the pod. 26 spots, at least as of right now, the national team for the World Cup. I think me and you feel pretty confident about 15, 16 of them of
Yeah.
like players that, barring any health issues, should be there. Now let's go a little deeper here. We think Ochoa is going to be in, right?
Yeah, I think Ochoa, and we'll see what happens. I mean, there's this rumor that he might play for Querétaro, but also, there's a possibility of starting in January.
Yeah,
Malagón there, Tala Rangel, Ochoa, Huescas.
Sanchez, Gallardo, Arteaga. I think I mean, is he?
Nah, I think Chavez did pretty well in the Gold Cup, and I think right now with the fact that he's in Europe is just gonna
Yeah.
put him up there.
For center backs, I got Montes, Vasquez, and Chiquete. Even though I do not feel confident at all about Chiquete.
He started pretty well this season, Chiquete. But he
Good.
had
I
a
hope he does.
nightmare. He had a nightmare of a game in Seattle in that 7-0.
Yeah. Oh, God, that whole team brutal.
I think that's when you knew that Seattle was going to win that League's Cup when they
Yeah.
whooped the crap out of
And they
Cruz.
had their own group of death in the Club World Cup.
Well, yeah,
They played well, but they
Botafogo,
lost every game.
Botafogo, Atlético Madrid, and PSG.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even fair, bro.
I know. And they were the home team, but it is what it is. In terms of center back, yeah, like I said, Montes, Vasquez, Chiquete. I would say Reyes has the leg up, especially because he can play right back.
Yeah,
I think so.
you can
For
play
the
defensive midfielder.
And you need those guys that can kind of plug in, if you don't want to burn a sub, you can kind of move him around a little bit. Edson, Marcel, I think he's bringing Pineda. I mean, Mora, I think is a lock, assuming he's healthy. Luis Romo, I think he's out, but you never know. He's one of those guys that can play himself back in.
Yeah, I think a lot would have to do with how things play out with Milito and Chivas, no? If they make the liguilla and then but he's still an option, I think, Romo, because of his it seems that he's a player that Vasco likes.
Montiel, I think he has got a good shot to make it as,
Well,
like, the last guy maybe?
yeah, but it depends too with what happens in the next month. It's because he hasn't really been part of the senior team. That's the thing.
It's the Club World Cup. I mean, I could have I bet you one of Montiel or Vargas would have been on this on the Gold Cup roster if the
Possibly.
Club World Cup didn't stop them from being on there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um,
Lira has been
I think
Lira
he
Lira did pretty well, I would say, and he's in this roster too, the one this
yeah,
month.
yeah,
I mean, he's constant at this point, Raul.
yeah, I
I
think you're
mean,
right.
I think he's in, I think.
Luis Chavez, I say no just because I don't know if he's gonna be back in time health-wise.
No, yo también.
Charlie Rodriguez, Eric Sanchez, either of them. I think Charlie's finally on his way out, and I've ripped on him a lot. He's not bad as a number 6 player, but when every Mexican manager said, "Oh, he's gonna be our creative midfielder," that's when the fans were like, "No, no."
But the thing right now is that this dude keeps playing pretty good with Cruz Azul.
Yeah, he
So
does.
it's like that's why you can't remove him. And we might not be the biggest fans of Charlie, but it just seems at this. If you told me right now, I think he's in the World Cup, but it
Unfortunately, I
can
think
change.
yeah, I think yeah, I'll give him a yellow on this list for us. Jimenez are in. Alvarado is in. You know,
Vegas in.
we can put him at right wing back apparently, so I think he's in. Vega in health wise, I think he's in.
Put
Huerta,
Lozano in yellow. Lozano's yellow for sure now,
yeah, I think so too.
especially with what Gibran said that
I
Vasco's
think
favorite,
I think that just means that Vasco's gonna be like, hey, you're gonna start at least one of these games,
and
and
you better
probably
ball
come in as a
out.
sub for 30 minutes in another game. This is your shot.
That's
That's
like
all you
you.
can ask, you know.
Yeah,
Lightness, I don't know. Sepulveda, Berterame, Quinones. That's where it's like, okay, these are the last. It's gonna be one or two of these guys as the last attacking option on the team. So
but that's it. That's what it is right now. I mean, that's the roster. I mean, it's pretty much set in stone.
yeah, I mean, we got like what, like 20, 21 people we have here that we think are pretty good.
And hopefully there is surprises. Like I don't know, like someone like Cambreros might. I don't know, just throwing names out there.
Well, there's always one or two guys that
You know what
wins
I
the
mean?
job in the clausura.
Uh huh.
Whether it's a guy who, hey, he's number 2, but someone in front of him got hurt.
Because a lot of people were saying that Tecatito was going to be in this roster, especially after what he did in the Club World Cup. But the fact that Vasco didn't consider him, I don't think he's considering him. There's no shot at this point. It should have been in this roster.
I think Lozano takes Tecatito's spot. I think you could bring one of them. I don't think you could bring both of them. You know what I mean? So I think if Lozano does well, shores it up, the spot's his over Tecatito.
I'm worried about Jimenez, Santi Jimenez. Yo, the whole situation with Milan was strange, man. Like, it's like
It's
like he's staying, but like, what guarantees that he's staying and playing? Like, it's looking right now that he's not gonna play at all.
well, let's just move on to the next topic. Transfers. Yes, I don't understand, but I think he's gonna play. He has to play. It's not like they
Yeah,
have. Are they gonna play what Rafael Leao up there?
we'll see.
He's a guy that goes on the wing and attacks the middle.
Well, he's playing with false nine with Pulisic. I gotta see AC Milan. It's because yo casi no veo la Serie A. Like, that's to be honest. That's one of the things. I don't see that one.
It's a fun league to watch. It's like the presentation is good. It's fun. Yeah, I don't know, man. He had 2 goals this year already taken away because of VAR. Just little things are just not it's just not the best start to him to this season for him.
Yeah,
And AC Milan has no European competition, so it's just the league and the Copa. Or actually, did AC Milan lose? I'm trying to think.
that's what I'm telling you. I mean, it's a very strange situation for this guy.
Oh no, they won. They won their first round game. Okay, I was
It's
getting
like it's
confused with
like
something
it's
else.
like at this the it it's been the crazy 6 months. Crazy 6 months for him.
He joined them in the worst possible time.
Yeah.
They were like in 4th, 5th place when he joined them, and then he
With
joined
Sergio
them. They lost.
Conceição,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. So it's a weird time for him. I think he's gonna get a chance to play just because they don't have anyone else.
Because that's
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, they tried to swap him, but when the swap didn't go through, it's not like they bought the guy without him.
yeah.
So, he's gonna play, and he wants to play there, so I think he's gonna, not that he's not gonna try, but I think he wants to succeed at AC Milan. Moving on, Edson, 2 things here. 1, I'm glad he's not at West Ham. That looks like a disaster.
Yeah.
And they just sold Paquete. That looks like a disaster. 2, he joins Fenerbahce, and it's like, okay, no Champions League, but at least, he'll be coached by Jose Mourinho. The next day, Mourinho's fired.
A la madre.
But then they sign Ederson. It's like they're loading up to make a deep Europa League run. So I'm okay with the move. It's a loan. So technically it's a loan. They don't have to buy him. We'll see. What are your thoughts on Edson going to Turkey?
It's tough, bro. I mean, I don't know if it's like it's a downer for me. I mean, because based on his trajectory, I mean, I felt that there was a possibility for him to be like at a, at least in Italy or Germany
Or
or,
Bayer? And
you
then Bayer. Maybe Bayer. Ten Hag is
yeah,
there. Ten
yeah.
Hag is fired.
Ten Hag is fired too. So it's like it is a downgrade for me. And it's a bit worrying because he is the captain of the national team. And stylistically and sort of growing in football terms, there's no more growth anymore. It's sort of like you stay at a certain level. And I thought that if he moved to another league, like, even at worst France, because there was Monaco rumored at one point, so it's sort of like in France, you will play some interesting youngsters, I would say, of the French league that will put you to the test, especially in terms of velocity. But here is sort of like just a straight line and a sort of not the league that you want your captain to be in, I would say. Like you said, Mourinho was there. And I think that's why Edson selected this team, but he's no longer there. And I think that makes it a very, very difficult scenario.
But
I said,
Europa League,
yeah, Europa League, but I don't think they'll go deep. I mean, there's other Europa League teams that probably will be better, I would say.
now let me say this. If
I
everything
said
that
something
happens now,
crazy. I said something crazy on Blue Sky. If you had the option to go Fenerbahce or Tigres, go Tigres.
can you imagine Mexican soccer Twitter, social
Yeah,
media,
yeah.
if he would have gone to Tigres? Oh my god.
I mean, I think for his football and the moment right now before World Cup, it would have been better to go to Tigres than to go to Fenerbahce. Because at least in Tigres, he was going to be the starter and one of the captains. He was also going to be coached by Guido Pizarro, who played the position that he plays. And I think it's a lot of more responsibility. And like you said, there's going to be a lot of pressure because a lot of Mexico, Twitter, and all that stuff is going to. There's no growth in Fenerbahce. I mean, I remember when Giovanni went over there to Galatasaray, but it was Giovanni. He was like 20 something, very young, and he needed to play. But to go from Premier League to Turkey,
Okay, knowing what you know now, would you rather him be in the same situation he is now at Fenerbahce or in West Ham fighting for relegation?
West Ham fighting for relegation.
Really?
Yeah, but and also if it's Potter saying that he didn't need him, or like just saying let him go because he's not
Potter
gonna.
might be gone by the time this international window's over too. That's the crazy part. Like, Potter doesn't want him, but
Okay, I'll stick it through. I'll stick it through, but I'll stay in England. And so it's a lot of because it's interesting right now. John Duran is here in the same team at Fenerbahce, but look,
that
John Duran has been a crazy mofo
I
in the
followed
last
he was with the
months.
Chicago Fire, so I followed him since he came up to the US. His career makes no sense. When the
So
Fire signed him, they signed him when he was 17. He came over after he turned 18. The first like 4 or 5 months, I heard from like team people and stuff was like, he is so good, but he runs 100 miles an hour and has no control. So they would only play him in 5 to 10 minutes. like
Yeah.
here or there. And then he finally got a couple starts in a row, scored a brace.
Mhm.
And then at 1 year after he signed with the Fire, they sold him for like 22 million euros.
Look, Fenerbahce is one of the main clubs in Turkey, historically speaking. At the end of the day, what is Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, and maybe 2 other Besiktas, I
Besiktas.
remember come to
Yeah.
Besiktas and all that stuff that happened. And there's other ones, Gaziantep, I think is another one, or Trabzonspor.
I don't know where Fenerbahce is getting all this money, man, though. They've been making their team looks really like good.
Yeah,
Like not, just pretty good. Like I mean they got Ederson.
that is true. That's a big move. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't love it, but if he's going to play 80% of the minutes, he's going to start every game, every Europa League. I'm okay with it. There could have been worse ones. It just sucks that Mourinho was fired a week after they signed him,
Yeah. So
you know?
it takes brightness to the thing, to the move, no, and hopefully Turkey makes the World Cup because it looks like there's a lot of Turkish players in the team, that are in the national team as well.
Well, also expanded World Cup.
Yeah,
So,
expand the World Cup.
Memo Ochoa, no club. He almost signed with the second division team in Spain, but yeah, that didn't happen. Now the rumor is Querétaro, but he can sign with Querétaro, no? He doesn't have to wait.
Yeah, he can sign with Querétaro.
So, like I said, if he's playing regularly, he's gonna make the World Cup, third keeper. I'm not too concerned about Memo as long as he plays.
Yeah,
Julian Araujo stays at Bournemouth after some rumors of him joining Almeida at Sevilla. Would
that
have been
would have been
nice.
nice.
Would have
Yeah,
been nice. He played well in La Liga when he was with Las Palmas. He just has to stay healthy, man. Just stay healthy, get some run of games. I think he'll get a chance.
Iraola is a good coach.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
say
I
so.
like him.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
Carrillo on loan to Dordrecht in second division. He's not going to go to the U20 World Cup. I'm a little surprised of the loan only because Feyenoord sold Carranza
Mm,
last week. So let's see. They just sold him, and I was surprised because he was like the replace. Oh, Leicester in the
shoot,
championship.
that's interesting.
So yeah, they sold him. Oh, he's on a loan, but yeah, he's on a loan in the championship.
Mm,
So I was a little surprised, but I'm okay with him. He's 19 years old. Carrillo. I'm okay with him in the second division because I think he's going to play a lot of minutes, and he's playing for Dirk Kurt Coit. How do you say his name?
Kite,
Yeah.
Kite. That's
So
good. A good forward. Kite was a great forward.
yeah, it's a good guy to learn from.
Yeah,
So so that's his manager right now. So he's gonna play. I think he already started the game for them. So I'm excited. I like that move. And then finally here on this list, I got Alex Padilla. Does he have any chance of the World Cup? I don't
no,
think so at this point. No.
no. Unless he starts playing, and then that's the thing too.
And then he has a shot at number two. I think number three
Yeah,
is Memo. Just
yeah, because
he's
we
the
got
perfect keeper.
Tala Rangel. We have him as number 2 right now. But
Yeah.
like you said, if Alex starts playing, I don't know. He could potentially be in the mix.
I mean, I think he's gonna play Copa del Rey games,
Yeah.
and that doesn't start till I think early October for La Liga clubs. So we'll see. Anything else you want to talk about for the specifically to the Mexican national team before we move on to the League's Cup?
No, well, I think, these games, Japan, Korea, I think are going to be good. What other games are coming up? Ecuador, I think I heard. Colombia.
The big rumor was Argentina, but that never that would have been sick because it would have been in Mexico. Or sorry, it would have been in Soldier Field. It would have been in Chicago. Sorry.
The one that I've read this morning is Portugal in March
Yes, in
at
March.
Azteca.
Yeah. Banco Norte.
Banorte.
Norte, sorry.
Banorte. El Banorte ahora va a llamarse.
It's supposed to be the big reopening game with the first time Ronaldo was playing in Mexico.
Oh, that's going to be interesting to see CR7 in Mexico City.
Yeah. I'm just low key happy the stadium's gonna be done in March because I heard rumors that it was behind schedule for the longest time.
Yeah, well, hopefully it is on schedule, and they can play it out. But yeah, yeah, I think, like you said, Vasco is winning time. He has time right now. It's sort of like that's what he's won. there's a lot of intrigue really also in the evolution of Mora, no, and Gilberto Mora and what he will do because it looks like he's a starter right now at this stage. So it's sort of like a lot will be determined in how he does with Cholos and how he does in this U20 World Cup. But if you ask me right now, he's in the starting 11 at the debut in the World Cup.
That would be crazy. 17 years old, starting
Yeah,
at Azteca in the opening match of the World Cup.
nah, yeah, yeah.
Can't write this shit, man.
How many 17, 18-year olds we're gonna see starting in the World Cup? We're probably gonna have a record number. You think about in England, they got a couple. In France, they might have another one.
How old is, Yamal gonna be next year? Is he still
Mm,
gonna be a teenager? I think he might be
I
19 next year.
19, yeah, yeah.
You got I mean, these games, like, it's a young man's game.
Yeah, the
International
the 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 Argentine that just went to Real Madrid also is very
yeah,
young.
he's 18.
Mastodon or what the name is,
He's got, like, an
Mastutuono.
Italian name, yeah, over there, I don't know. Leagues Cup, we touched on it a little bit, which did you see the final? Did you see the
Yeah,
final?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
What are
did,
your
I did.
thoughts on the final with the ass whooping Seattle put on, and how'd you think, Vargas played?
No, Vargas played a phenomenal game. I mean, I think overall it was a good performance from Seattle. Christian Roldanes back in the U.S. men's national team, and he just got the call up a couple of hours ago. Well deserved. It's a well-oiled machine, that team, the Seattle Sounders. It's not your fireworks team like Miami with the big names and everything, but it just gets stuff done. Uh,
They have a system,
yeah,
and
and it works.
they haven't bought a big name player in a while. It's like their DPs are always these guys that are just under the radar that stay there for 4, 5, 6 years, and it's kinda crazy.
Yeah, yeah, no, but I think it's a very very tight knit group, and it's nice to know that Vargas grew there. No, he's an academy product, so kudos to them and to the manager. I think Schmelzer, if I'm saying it right. I think it's one of those stories that is good for U.S. soccer in general. No, it's a good blueprint as well for other teams that struggle to sort of find their way in the league. No, and they don't know a lot of identity crisis happens a lot in MLS. No, it's for them to sort of find their groove, and Seattle is one of those teams that has it very very perfected for so many years already.
Yeah, it's like a machine, man. They're just and it's funny because in the beginning of every season, I feel like Seattle I don't know what it is, maybe it's because they're always in CONCACAF play, but they tend to, like, struggle the first couple months of the MLS season, but then come July, August, they're just, like, on all cylinders, ready for the playoffs. It's they're just, like, low key, not big flashy signings. They're not signing Heung-min Son or Messi, but they're just a well-oiled machine. That's, like, the best way to put it.
Yeah, 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 and it's sort of all the positions, no, and they got these players. The player that was very popular that scored the third goal, Rotsberger or el ¿cómo se llama este? Uh,
Rothrock?
yeah, that one, I think. That's a good example of the type of player that Seattle has, no, and sort of like gets shit done on the field and scores important goals, no? I think before the game, Schmetzer, yeah, they have Messi, but we have
Rothrock?
and look, and he scored the third goal, and he couldn't believe it. I mean, it was a nice scene, that one, when he scored that goal.
Leagues Cup as a whole, it was fun this year. I mean, I watched a lot of the games because they're on I got Apple TV, so it's like it's pop it on. I don't know what's the plan for next year 'cause they're gonna have to tweak it because of the World Cup. Have you heard any rumors or anything about them having any games in Mexico, or is it still gonna be US?
Well, it's a difficult one, no? Because when you look at the tournament, I mean, the idea is interesting. Since most of the games, all the games are in the US, I mean, I think that deters a little bit, or it demotivates the Mexican players that come in Liga Mexico. It makes it a hassle mentally.
Yeah, the travel's gotta be
The
brutal.
travel, I mean, the players look at it like a vacation, to be honest. I mean, look at the Chivas players. They came to New York, they took their photos for Instagram and went shopping and everything, but that it was a vacation for them. It wasn't like a proper tournament. So it's sort of like, and that happens with a lot of other teams as well. They don't take it as serious. I mean, it's very strange, the League Cup, because the teams that end up doing well for Mexico are the teams that suck in the Mexican league, like Mazatlan or Puebla or Necaxa, and all that. No, they're not your competitive teams, and the competitive teams exit out early,
It's a lot easier to beat Kansas City than it is to beat Monterrey.
for some reason. And so I think, there needs to be some reciprocate sort of mojo to this. So MLS teams also have to go to Liga MX, but when you look at the League's Cup, it's a commercial thing. No, it's sort of like it's
Are you of the mindset? Because I know it's Mexico. When Mexico, because Mexican teams, it's funny because in Mexico they have their cake and eat it too. This tournament sucks, and no one should take it seriously. Blah blah blah, whatever. Oh wait, a Mexican giant lost. Fracaso.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't understand how they could do both things, but I'm in the mindset of until every game stops being the US, it's not a true competition, except that there's actual real consequences because look at LA Galaxy. They're like the worst team in MLS, but they made it to the Final Four, and now they're getting a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot next year.
yeah,
So I get that it's not a serious competition, but there's serious prizes, you know? Because if they're gonna keep doing the Club World Cup where it's all this money, I wanna get into the competition, and you can only get into it by winning the CONCACAF Champions Cup. So,
yeah,
it's something to play in and take it for serious, but at the same time, I am not worried as a Liga MX fan that, hey, out of the last 3 years, out of the Final Four, there's only been one Mexican club in the Final Four. I'm not like, "Oh my god, what's happening? What does Liga MX need to change?" It's like, Liga MX needs to change, but not because of this competition.
yeah. And it goes to show a little bit the situation with in Mexico, it's the lack of second division, no, and sort of how crappy that is. That you don't have a proper first and second division, which makes you have this tournament. And this tournament gets created because there's this sense that in Mexico there's only a first division now. There's the second division exists, but it's not important. And so you connect the sort of the symbolism there is that MLS also doesn't have a first, second division. So it's a league of its own. And so you unite and there's commercial reasons behind this. But when it comes to growing in football terms, it doesn't do any good to the Liga MX teams. Yeah, I feel the Leagues Cup games many times they have this feeling of being sort of friendlies. These are sort of like whenever your
It's
Liga
like
MX team comes to, Chicago and they come every now and then and they make the game feel like a friendly. I mean, it doesn't feel really that competitive.
it's like a friendly until, like, the 70th minute, they're like, "Oh, well, let's try to win this game now," It's
Yeah,
like, they were fun once you get to, like, the knockout rounds, like, they're more competitive, but at the same time, it's I don't know, man, it's something about it, it sucks because, like I said, there's real world things to win. Like,
yeah,
if I'm Puebla and I'm like, because these are all midweek games, which I think the fact that it's all midweek games and the leagues don't stop their regular seasons, I think that's good because I remember when the first time they did it, I think Chivas was out after the first 2 games they played, and then they had no league games for 3 weeks. So they were
yeah.
just sitting at home for 3 weeks.
No, and that's actually a cool story with Gilberto Mora and Cholos. Cholos was eliminated from last year's Leagues Cup very early. So they had like 2 to 3 weeks to train in Tijuana. So what Osorio did was, he brought in the U17s, the U20s to train with the first team. And that's when Gilberto Mora got his attention. And he was like, why is this kid, not playing with us? And, that's when Osorio was like, this kid is amazing. He should start. And he started him right away. So if it wasn't for the Leagues Cup elimination a year ago, maybe Gilberto Mora, we don't know about Gilberto Mora just yet.
Damn, now I'm back in on the Leagues Cup. Let's expand that shit.
So it's crazy how it is. Little things like that that seem insignificant, but at the end of the day make a big difference in individual stories. So, we'll see what happens with this, but I think it hasn't been prospero. What the word I'm trying to say? It hasn't been what they've envisioned. I think they expected something else, more fireworks, than
I
it
think
has
it's
been.
just bad timing too. If this would have happened 5 years ago,
Yeah.
I think it would have been better because it would have been more excitement, but now it's like there's so much soccer in the US in the summer. It's crazy. We had
Yeah.
the Leagues Cup, the Club World Cup, and the Gold Cup.
And then you got all these European teams coming to the US
Yeah,
for summer
like
tours.
so I think they were hoping to cash in, and they're still cashing in to a certain extent, but there's just so many games now. And then you
Yeah.
got, like, clubs like, Chivas, every time there's a FIFA window, they're coming to the US.
Well, actually, America's coming to DC this weekend.
That's
They're
random as
playing
hell.
they're playing against DC United and Audi Field.
Wow, they must be getting a shit ton of money for that.
They are. I mean, and that's one of the things. Copa America has been doing its own Leagues Cup, without the need of MLS and Liga MX. They've gone to San Diego and
They
played
go s
against them.
they go to San Jose, they go to Houston, like, every year, like
And but the most randomest thing, they're playing against DC United, one of the worst teams in MLS this weekend. It's like, and I bet you $1,000 that Audi Field is gonna be semi packed with Americanistas.
well, that and, like, that stadium is small. Like, it's not like, it's a soccer specific stadium, so it's not like it's like a
Yeah, but it's one of the smallest one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good point. It's one of the smallest.
wow, okay, so I'm on StubHub right now. Okay, it's not that bad. Alright, tickets are, like, retail resale, like, 40 to 50 bucks, but still, 40 to 50 bucks to watch America's B team?
It looks like Henry Martin is traveling, by the way.
Okay, he'll start and play 30
Yo,
minutes.
if Maximin travels, that's gonna sell.
Yeah, and I mean, he's gonna travel, he's just working his way into fitness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, oh, that's yeah, I think when they came up with it 4 years ago, 5 years ago, it made more sense, but now there's just so much soccer, like and I know we talked about it a little bit before, but tickets are about to go on sale for the World
But the
Cup.
thing is also, Raul, this existed many, many years ago, and it was called Interliga, and it was
Yeah,
between what, like the top eight against the top eight. Just do it that way. It's like you don't gotta include everyone. It's like top eight of MLS, the top eight against Liga MX. You do this 2-week tournament thing, blah, get it over with, gets the money that you want, and people are gonna watch. I remember Pachuca, LA Galaxy, Calero, and stopping a PK from Donovan. Man, that was amazing. That was a battle, no, a duel. Those are the matches that you want to see, and just shorting it. If you really want to continue this thing together, top eight for Liga MX, top eight from MLS, do the knockout round right away, get it over with as soon as possible. 2 week, 1 week, whatever.
you know what that sounds like? That sounds like the old Club World Cup, which was done in 10 days,
Pues así me.
and now it's 5, 6 weeks.
And do you think there was many games that were pointless, no? And but
I think
the
Pumas
money.
came to Chicago, and there was a huge fight in the stands, and ever since then, anytime a Liga MX club plays a fire, there's so much security.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Te digo, o sea, it's one of those things where, like you said, it's just too many games. And like, what does this mean? Like the Club World Cup, and they're thinking about doing the Club World Cup every 2 years now. I mean, not every 4 years, every 2 years.
Back in my day, the Club World Cup was in 10 days in Qatar. No one paid attention to the 3rd place game.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode. Anything else you wanna talk about before we sign off?
No, no, no. Just to enjoy the games. Enjoy. There's a lot of good games coming up. And it should be fun. I mean, I think the U20 World Cup will be interesting. Like we said, it's a very tough group, but it's worth the watch, especially to see Vargas, Montiel, and Morita. Just to see those three in the midfield. It doesn't matter who the heck is coaching them, or if they lose 3-0 against Spain, no problem, no problem. I think just to see them on the field and see their chemistry growing, I think will be fun.
All right. Well, that's all I got for me. Naib, were you on Blue Sky?
Blue Sky, Nayim Moran, I should be there.
And you still got the newsletter pumping out stuff?
Yeah, yeah, the newsletter. I'll see if I pump out some stuff. I haven't pumped out since the World Cup, so we'll see.
The break is over, man. International soccer is back.
Nah, the World Cup is around the corner too.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Please leave a comment, review, let us know what else you want to talk about in the next episode. Peace.